Hi, today I'm here with.
Luka Mijatović.
And what did you play for the Croatia Nationals?
I played Vaalmonica. My primary reason for playing Vaalmonica is because I had nothing else to play. My friends were trying to get me on Tempai, but I didn't want to learn anything new. So I just picked up what first came into my hands, and I picked something fun, which I thought was gonna be a sleeper pick because nobody knows what they do. So here's the breakdown. 3 Celetri's, which is the main stratus for the deck. Searches any Vaalmonica card, can be the monsters or the spell traps. And when it goes into the grave by any means like Sharvara, it just goes back to the hand, which is good for Baguska plays on the standby phase. Next, I played 3 Demono and 3 Angelo. I see some people play 2 of this, which I don't agree with. I think you need as many copies as you need, because you already run so little monsters. So I think the third one helps because you basically go through 2 of these in the main combo with Invitare. So I think it's really mandatory to play 3 of them, but it still needs some more testing to do. That's for the monster type. For the spells, 3 chairs, which is the main searcher for the deck. For the monsters, you primarily search Celetri's with this. If you don't have it in hand, to discard with one of the main ones, the scales. And nobody knows about the secret effect for the Snatch Steel, which it's kind of weird that they gave it on the 3rd counter instead of something like anything above the 3rd counter. But it is what it is, what can you do? For the main spells, 3 Celta, which is the main searcher for the deck. It searches any spell trap in the deck except itself. That's the first part of the effect, and the second, which doesn't come up that much because you don't have any real hand advantage to put one on the bottom of the deck and then draw 2. Good thing with these all cards is that you inherently have in any of them a way to go over time if you ever get to it, which is not the primary way to play, but it is what it is. Next, 2 Invitare. I was going on between 3 or 2, but I felt that seeing only Invitare with one of the monsters wasn't enough. So I opted to play something else, which I'll show it later. I think 2 is enough. You can already recycle it with Disharmonia, so I think that's just enough. 2 Versare. I see some people play 1, which I think is incorrect, because if you have access to the main scales and this, you already basically have Celetri's to dump and go into the rest of the combo. So I think maybe bumping up this to 3 would also be fine, because even if you try to gamble and excavate, it's already pretty good to go 1 for 1 for some other spell. Next is 2 Disharmonia. This is you could play this at 1, but I feel like having the additional counters, which is the main part of the effect, is pretty crucial. I think you should play 2 of this. And the last, the traps. This one carried the spell trap, destroy and return 1 monster to hand. This one carried. This one isn't as impactful, but it's good to have if you have nothing else to search, if you already have this in hand. Maybe going forward I would change to have 2 of these, but I don't know, to maybe see it more often in the opening hands to search something else with Celta. I don't know, I would have to test it a little bit more. That's for the main Vaalmonica lineup. For the additional spells and traps, we have Terraforming, for searching the field spell, the Callby, and the Metal Foes Fusion. I saw some people play Fenrir's, which is also good, but I unfortunately don't have them, so I had to cut down, and I'm pretty happy I did, because I don't think Fenrir's are really necessary for the deck. They are good only for the hand advantage you get for additional discard, but at that point maybe I would play Metal Foes to discard it and then draw. Maybe even 2 of these to see it more often. It's pretty good. And the last 3 searchers is the Prosp. You don't need that many monsters in the extract, so it's pretty free. The only thing it conflicts with is the Celta's second effect to draw, but you already don't draw with it that often. You probably just search. And the other one it conflicts with is the TTT. But I think this is mandatory in these formats with so many hand traps, Tempeh running so many hand traps, Snake Eyes running so many hand traps. I think it's pretty necessary to run TTT. That's for the spells. And I played 9 hand traps, which is the Ashes, the Ghost Ogres, and the Imperms. Imperm and Ash is pretty much mandatory. I would probably swap out Ghost Ogres into the side. I was thinking there are going to be a lot of Tempeh in the tournament, which there were, but I didn't get matched up with a lot of them. So it was pretty mediocre in other matchups, but it was excellent into Tempeh. Maybe I would switch this into maybe Mourners or Veilers. I don't know, I would have to test it a bit more. That's it for the main deck. Let's go into the extract. So we play 2 Zebufera, which is the main link one you go pretty much all the time into if you have counters. So you can only summon this if you have the 3 counters on the Dark Demono. With any effect monster, doesn't have to be a Vaalmonica monster, which is pretty good because you can, for example, if you have something like Change of Heart or anything to steal, even from talents, you can just use opponent's monster to link into this once you have the 3 counters. And it's a pretty big attack, lets you beat over a lot of things, like Baguska or something. Also, this has a transaction rollback effect to copy any spell or trap that is in the graveyard or banished, but it has to be a normal spell or trap. Vaalmonica, of course. And the secret effect, nobody knows, it can remove 3 counters from anywhere on the field to prevent the destruction of 1 or more of your cards, which is pretty good. So Lightning Storm doesn't do anything to us, or any type of destruction effect. The only thing that pretty much screws us over is Evenly, which I think the new support cards may help with. The other one is 2 Duralume. You could play one of these, it's really situational. I pretty much always banished one with Prosperity and kept the other one. So for this one you have to have 3 counters on the Light Vaalmonica. But it's a really powerful effect for clearing monster boards. For each counter you have on the scales, it can pop 1 monster for each counter on the field. So you can potentially pop up to 6 monsters and then just go OTK because you can remove 3 counters from anywhere on the field, and this can make 2 additional attacks. So this is 7,500 attack, which means you just need 1 monster with 500 attack, and that's it to finish them off. So it can pretty much OTK pretty easily. That's it for the Vaalmonica extract monsters. The other ones I play are Artemis. This is pretty situational. It's pretty much if you don't have anything else to link off Selectrice, which is a spellcaster, into the link 1 to recycle it back to go into something like an SP or whatever you need. Link Spider, which is for if you get nibbed at the end of the combo. Nib doesn't really hurt you that much because if you do go full combo, you end up on Zebufera plus a Baguska. And if I do nib you, this has to have an effect monster as a link material. So you go the nib token into the Link Spider and then into another Zebufera which you play. Dark for extending, IP, and the Unicorn. I don't have SP, so we're playing here on a budget. So I'm playing Unicorn instead. SP would really be more insane because you could go into a one card SP basically. If you have the scales and Celetrice, you just go into Artemis, bring back Celetrice, Pendulum summon it, and then you can go into the SP with this and the Celetrice. That's it for the links. The XYZ, we play one Baguska, one Dweller, one Excitonite, and one Typhon. Baguska really carries. You pretty much always end up on it in defense position, of course, because all of your things work under Baguska. You just end up on the link 1 and a bunch of hand traps and the trap. Abyss Dweller for the problematic matchups, also really good. Excitonite also came up a lot because you go through cards pretty quickly and the opponent almost always has more cards than you. So you can just nuke the field whenever you want to. And Typhon because it's really good. You can, if you have no other plays, you can just put it on Celetrice, bounce one of your opponent's monsters, detach Celetrice for cost, and then it just goes back into your hand for the next turn's follow-up, and hope that hand traps get you through. And the last 2 slots is Mud Dragon and Garura. These are the only 2 I would swap out for, because Super Poly in the side didn't come up that often. I would probably switch them for another Baguska because it actually came up. And probably something like some other rank 4 or some other link, I don't know. That's it for the extra deck. The side, pretty self-explanatory. 3 Super Poly for the Baguska and Mud Dragon. As I said, it didn't come up that often. It's okay when it does come up, but I would probably swap it out for something else. Maybe more hand traps or some other board breakers. To Trust, shout out to Ivan Horvat for renting them to me. They were really helpful. They complement the other parts of the side deck, which are Duster, 2 Lightning Storms, and the targets Dark Ruler, 2 of them, Herald Abyss, 3 evenly, and the D-Barrier. So I thought that Nib wasn't that good right now at our nationals, so I felt like more board breakers, like evenly Dark Ruler and Lightning Storm were gonna be helpful, which they were. Evenly was insane every game, which I drew it. Dark Ruler was okay, Lightning Storm was insane, Duster was always insane. Herald of Abyss didn't come up that often. I would thought that maybe people were gonna play Pearly at our nationals, but there weren't a lot of players, so it wasn't needed. And the Barrier, I would probably bump up maybe to 3, cut the Herald and the Super Poly, that's 3 D Barrier, and then maybe 2 Droll or 2 Nibiru, something like that. Overall, I felt that the deck was pretty good. There's also new support coming in Info, which is okay. I'm also hoping for some new support cards to help out the deck. So yeah, shoutouts to my friends from Krapina and Velika Gorica locals. Also shoutout to Ivan Horvat for borrowing the Trustes. Shoutout to Renato Smilju for a nice organization of the whole event. It was pretty nice. And shout out to Rale for borrowing the trap, the followed rhythm, which I couldn't find until the start of the tournament because I somehow lost it in the cards at home. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied. I came 26th in the tourney, so top 32. It performed really well, as well as I thought it would. I was trying to get top 16, but I ended up losing in the second to last round and missed out. But I think top 32 is good enough with this deck. So yeah, thank you.